There we go. There we go. We're all sorted now. Right. Thanks for joining. For all the guys that are on the call right now, much appreciated. And thank you for the guys that are watching us on the YouTube channel. For those who are watching us for the first time, we are the Zim Property Investors, and you can find us on Facebook. Please feel free to join our group. All the details are going to be in the description below. And if there's anyone on the call who hasn't actually joined the Facebook group, I will be sharing the link on the chat, and also give you access to our WhatsApp group. So every single Sunday, 5:30 UK time, we get together virtually just to have a discussion about property. The whole concept is about helping each other in our journeys. We're all in different parts of our journeys, and every single one of us has got a bit of value to add. So we get together and just have a chat. So the agenda for today is I had already given a heads up to the guys on the group that we're going to be looking at analyzing deals. And Thabo and Gugu have kindly accepted to show us how they do their deal analysis. Now, all different people are going to have different ways of doing this and doing analysis in deals and due diligence, and dependent on what your strategy is going to be at the end. Some information may be important, some may be not so important. So we'll just go through it. And obviously the guys that are on the call now, you've got the advantage of being able to ask questions as we're here. And for the guys that are watching on the YouTube channel, feel free to just ask questions in the comments and we will get back to you as soon as we can. So then, without wasting too much time, these calls usually take about an hour and a half-ish. It doesn't necessarily have to take a full hour and a half, but then by 7 o'clock, we try by all means to cut off the call. And if there's any further questions, we'll take them offline. Hi, Pauline. Thanks for joining.
Hi, Mercy. You're right.
All good. Thank you. So I will pass it over now to Thabo to just take us through his slideshow, and hope you guys find it helpful.
Yeah, I'll just share my screen. I don't know if it's come up yet.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, thanks for Muzi for the opportunity to present. So what I'll do, I'll take you guys through the deal analysis process, which me and my wife do while we analyzing deals. So it's like a 5-stage process just to look at the deals. At the end, I'll show you the current deal, which completed last week, the figures, so you understand where our figures come from and how we actually assess the deal, yeah? So the first step on the 5-stage analysis process is to identify your gold mine area. So pick an area and study that area, master the area, know the popular landmarks in that area, for example, hospitals, universities, schools, transport links, and if there's any redevelopment happening. Where can you get this information? Everything is 100% online, so you can just be typing online what's happening in that specific area, and you can also look into the council websites. They can show you, okay, in this particular area, or what's happening, or if you just drive around in your area, you can see if there's fields which companies are building or whatever they're doing. After identifying that area, you can then go, it can attain you to see if the area is a high rental demand, etc., because of identifying popular landmarks, yeah? Number two, what we do is, okay, so, sorry, going back to number one, our gold mine area is Glasgow. So we look at Glasgow, and within Glasgow, there's specific areas which you're mainly interested in, like, for example, a place called Govan, which is close to your hospital, like the biggest hospital in Scotland, and the areas around town, which is like, it's close to the city center, and there's a lot of universities there. So those are like our gold mine areas within Glasgow. So number two, understanding the market. You know, so within your gold mine area, you need to look every day or whenever you're free, what's the property prices in that type of area, and what property types are there, you know. So the reason why I put property types is in Glasgow, there's too many flats. So there's only certain areas where there's a lot of houses, etc. So we understand, okay, if we're buying in this area, it's either going to be a flat or, you know, or an apartment, because there's less houses in that area. For example, in most cities, in the city center, it's usually apartments or flats. There's rarely houses in the city centers, you know, so you need to understand what property types you're going for, and the market rent per property type and per your government area. You know, how can you learn more about market rent and etc.? You either speak to local estate agents and letting agents as well. They can give you that information. So it's all about building relationships with those kind of people. So number three, what do we do? So we spend a lot of time on the internet. So like on Rightmove, on Zoopla, on OpenRent, on the market. So if you familiarize yourself with the internet sites, you can see the market movements, you know, like what's moving in your particular area, what a house is selling for, and what a house is being advertised for. You know, you can actually, even if you're not going to buy a certain house, or you can track it to say, okay, this house has come on the market on the 1st of January, and you see how long it stays on the market. If it goes out of the market within 4 weeks or 2 weeks, you know, that shows you that that area is hot for flips, you know, like a house goes on the market and someone buys it within 2 weeks. If you see a house in that particular area staying for longer, so you might say, oh, why is this house staying for longer, you know? So it's up to you to get in the nitty-gritty of your particular area. But everything, the market analysis, it's all online, so you can just do it while you're home on your desktop, etc., you know, like to understand your market in your particular area. I'll move on to number 4, yeah? So number 4, which is the most important part, like it's crunching the numbers. So if you identify a property which you want, so it's very, very important to know the current market value of that property, you know, and a lot of people get confused with the current market value, because they think what the advertised price or advertised value is the current market value. No, that's not it. If I'm a seller, I'm selling my house, I can advertise it at any price which I want, you know, because I want to get the highest possible value for the house, you know. So the advertised value has nothing to do with the current market value. How do you work out the current market value? What most people do is they look in a radius of 1/4 of a mile of that particular area and look at the comparable prices which sold within a short specific period of time. So for example, if I'm looking in my area, I'm more interested in properties which sold between 2018, 2019, and 2020, you know, as like, okay, if I'm buying a 1-bed, so I'm looking for 1-bed areas, properties which sold within the area. And I'm not going to go far. Like if there is not enough properties within the 1/4 of a mile radius, I can increase my radius to maybe 0.5 miles. But also look, you do like for like comparables, you know, comparing an apple and an apple, you know. So if you're buying a 1-bed, you're not gonna compare a 1-bed with a 3-bed. You have to compare a 1-bed to a 1-bed within that particular area, and you get the gist of the current market value to say, wait, if these properties are like within the last 6 months, within the last year, we're selling for this price and in that condition, you know. So that means the current market value for that area is about that much, you know. Then when it comes to the end market value, it's end market value is the highest. It's mainly the ceiling price of that particular area. So if you identify a property and you can tell like, okay, this was a 1-bed and probably someone has added value to it and made it a 2-bed or something like that. You know, you're looking for the highest ceiling price in that particular street, or like you also can look in on Rightmove and see what was sold, and also do a comparables of saying, okay, cool, if this sold for X amount of price in this particular state, and that other one sold X amount of price in this particular state, is there room for me to add value or do something creative to uplift the end market value in that street, you know? And end market value, it's also like a bit of I would say like a guesstimate, because you can be 10% over or 10% under, you know, if you know what you're doing. So it's like, it's take it with a pinch of salt, especially in this current market, because valuers are coming back undervaluing properties, you know. So people should be like mainly do conservative figures. So if you think your end market value on your desktop is about 200K or whatever, I'll be calculating it around 185 or 190, just to being conservative, because valuators, when they come, you know, you can convince them as much as you want, but the value which they put there is the value which they put there as well, you know. Also, when you're crunching the numbers, understand your refurb cost or your renovation cost, whatever you want to call it. You need to understand them. So it's either you can like take builders with you when you go into a viewing, etc. But not a lot of builders will give you their time like that. So what we normally do is we take videos and send it to the builders which you currently use, to say, okay, we planning to do X, Y, Z. What do you think the refurb is going to come up to, you know? And because we've been doing it for a while now, so we've got rough estimates of, okay, if we change the kitchen, the bathroom, and the flooring, etc., or plastering the whole house, is going to be X amount. So even when we've got that X amount in our head, we usually put 10 or 20% more, just to be on the safer side. Legal fees are usually depending on your place, on your area, or wherever you are. They usually range from 800 to 1,005, depending on with your solicitor as well. So it's like it's usually fixed fees, to be honest, and your search is included as well. Interest rates. So interest rates are based on your mortgage product, you know, and interest rates are also based on you as an individual. So if you've got a good credit score, you might get cheaper interest rates. So right now we've seen in this current market, like the interest rates have been in all-time low. So which is good. And but like lately, I've also been seeing interest rates going up. So people need to be careful. So you get like 3% or 2 point something percent if it's fixed for 2 years and it's on a buy to let. So interest rates, just shop around with your mortgage broker, you know, and they'll get you a good deal on that. So another tip here, which I want to do, is especially when it comes to mortgage brokers, I know a lot of people usually want to go with the free mortgage brokers. With the free mortgage brokers, I'll just tell you, also be careful, because they'll be tailoring you to the mortgage product where they get the highest commission from, you know. Whereas if you go for a paid mortgage broker, it's like he's looking at all markets, because you've already paid him a fee. Whereas the free one, he wants you to get like a specific mortgage product, because he knows he's going to get the highest commission on that product, you know. But in the back of your mind, you've been thinking it's free, but you're going to pay the price elsewhere. Okay, I'm going to move on to number 5 now. So on number 5 is understand your exit strategy or your end goal. So if you're going to buy a property, you need to know, what am I using this property for? Are you going to use it for a buy-to-let, which is like buying and renting out as a single let to a family or individual person? Or are you using it as a HMO, which is house of multiple occupation, where you rent it out to professionals or students, room by room, like 5 to 6 rooms, etc.? Are you going to be using it as an SA, which is like service accommodation, where you rent it out like a hotel, but through places like Airbnb, Booking.com, and other OTAs as well? Or are you buying this property to flip it on? Are you buying to flip it on, or are you buying for social housing where you're renting it out to the council direct or other housing associations. So once you know your exit strategy, but you can have up to 3 exit strategy for a particular property. For example, the way we do it, like when we look at a property, I want to know if it's going to work as a service accommodation and if it's going to work as a flip. Because if it doesn't work as a service accommodation, worst case scenario, I can flip it on and get my money back and make a little bit of profit. Or worst case scenario, I can rent it out as a buy to let and still what? I know as a buy to let, I will be leaving a little bit of money on the deal. But like, well, one thing which I need to understand is, are you going to be happy with leaving X amount of money in that deal? You just have to have 3 exit strategies, especially in this current climate, you know, where things are changing, because service accommodation is not as lucrative as it was because of COVID-19, etc. I know other people have got the highest occupancy through using creative strategies within that sector as well. So number 5 is understand your exit strategies. So the next slide, I'm gonna explain to you guys the deal which we completed on. So some of the figures are estimates, but I'll just run you through the figures. Is there any questions on this slide, or Muzi, do you want me to take questions in the end?
I would say keep going, and then I will take questions at the end. I've just pointed out as well, guys, that if you've got any questions, feel free just to drop them on the chat. So we just have an organized question and answer session at the end.
Okay. Yeah, I'll move on to the next slide, yeah? So the deal figures, so this property was a 1-bed, well, is a 1-bed flat in Glasgow in an area called Finiston. So Finiston, those who are in the Midlands, it's like an area like the Jewellery Quarter, if you know Birmingham well. So it's like that. It's kind of vibe. It's close to town. It's close to Glasgow University. You know, it's a hippie kind of looking like area. So we purchased this area off market. So we used the leaflets, the pink leaflets, which we got the chip from Muzi. Muzi shared with us. So we purchased the property for 130. I made a mistake. It's 130 as a 1-bed there. And the current market value for that property was, this is where the trickiness comes in. I thought the market value for that area was 160, yeah? And the bank came back and said, no, in this current state market, this property is actually worth 150. So already I was 10K off, which was fine. But like the end market value. So with what we're gonna do, so we are adding value to the property by making it a 2-bed. Because right now, as in its current condition, it's a 1-bedroom flat. So we're gonna make it a 2-bedroom flat and also add an additional wet room in the other bedroom to make it an ensuite, yeah? So the end market value, the way I've calculated the end market value is to look within the 500 meters or within 0.5 radius of around the area, what are 2-bed flats going for? So the 2-bed flats in that particular area have sold for around 180 up to 210, you know? And so if I've looked at what 2-beds are going for, I want to check the floor space, because it can be a 2-bed, but with a bigger floor space than mine, you know? So I've seen other 2-beds with the same floor space as mine, which is 54 meters squared, going at around 190, 200. But like for me to be conservative, because of this current climate, I've estimated my end market value to be 185. So it could be 185, it could be less, or it could be more, but I don't think it's going to be less than 185. Yeah. So that's so the next thingy for this deal. So since we purchased it for 130,000, what deposit do we need? We need a 25% deposit to put in the property, because most mortgage products want you to, if it's your second property or third, as long as it's not if it's an investment property, they'll want you to have at least 25%. However, you gotta be careful with this one as well, because there are some products which want more. So it's not all of them which are fixed to 25%. Most of them can want 30%. Other ones can want 35%. So it also depends on what product is out there in the market. Before COVID-19, I know other people were getting like buy-to-let mortgages for 15%, or other people were getting it for 20%. So things always change. Mortgage products always evolve as well. So for this one, our deposit was 25%, so which worked out to be 32,500. Okay, so the next thing which we had to pay was the land and business transaction tax, which you guys in England, you call it stamp duty. So our stamp duty was, I think 4%, or yeah, 4% of 130, which worked out to be 5,200. So when you do your calculations, you have to factor your stamp duty. For us here in Scotland, it's 4%, but you guys in England, because of the stimulus packages, etc., the holiday you're getting, most stamp duties are coming up to 3%. That's my understanding. Then the third thing you need to account for are your professional fees. So your solicitor fees, your registration of dispossession, which in England, I think this is called a different name, like search fees, etc. So everything is a bulk. You know, for us, it came up to 1.5. And another thing here, which we didn't make a mistake, but which we didn't know, we had to pay 2 solicitor fees. The reason being is the mortgage product which we got, they wanted to use their own solicitor. So I paid for our own solicitors, and we had to pay the solicitor for the mortgage product as well. So we had to pay solicitor fees twice. Yeah. So which everything came up to 1.5. Since I mentioned in the beginning of the presentation, we converting this flat from a 1-bed to a 2-bed, and we wanted to be recognized as a 2-bed. So we went through something called building warranty. So the council can agree, like the rooms are spacious enough, the flat is spacious enough, etc., for it to be a 2-bedroom. And I remember I put these pictures in the group, back in August, when I asked the group to help me identify which one is the best floor space. And we had about 4 designs, and most people chose if I can remember, if it was B, you know. So yeah, for me to do those, for us to do those drawings, it cost us 1,080, because we did the drawings using the architect, and we also had to pay the council to submit those drawings as well. So that came up to 1,080. But like when you're doing a refurb, sometimes when you uplift your property to a 2-bed, you don't have to do these drawings. You know, you don't have to do these drawings. But we wanted to go this route, because when you go to a mortgage company and you tell them, we've now added value to this property, and it's now a 2-bed. I think there's an echo there, Muzi. I don't know if it's coming from me. When you go to a mortgage company and you say, yes, I've uplifted the value of this property, it's now a 2-bed, they'll be wanting to see, like, they can ask for evidence, you know. So you don't want to give them an excuse not to accept what you're telling them. So that's why we went through the architect group. Yeah. I also mentioned about the broker fees. So our broker charged us about £400, but we also had to pay administration charges for the mortgage product to the mortgage provider, you know, which is a company called Paragon. So altogether, these costs came up to 740. You know, with the 740 as well, there was an arrangement fee, but the arrangement fee, we added it to the mortgage product. So it just calculates within the mortgage product as well. So you don't have to worry about that. Then the next phase is the refurbishment cost, so which is the labor and materials. So right now I'm actually in the process of buying the materials, and we've got the labor costs, and so the materials we budgeted for around 5K. So we'll see how it comes up to, but I don't think it's gonna go above 5K. So with this one also, we're leveraging our builders trade discount. We're also leveraging the LNPG discount, which is like a landlord's discount where you can buy stuff with 10% or 15% off. But with the materials, also shopping around for you to get that fine finish, you know, for you to get that nice look. So you gotta shop around to get the best materials for yourself. So, because our exit strategy for this property is to make it a serviced accommodation, so we have to buy furniture with it. So I've actually added furniture into this into the pack as well. So our budget for furniture has come up to 3K. We've never bought furniture for serviced accommodation, but from speaking to people who have done so, they've said they've spent about 3K. So we've put 3K as well. If it comes up more, it will come up more, but we would have like gone over the budget. But for our budget is 3K. So the total money in, as you've seen, I've broken down all the costs. It's 56K is all the money we've put in this deal. So let's look at, okay, the next slide, I'll be explaining like the refinance process, the refinance process. So the refinance stage is you have to be very, very careful. Yeah, it should always depend on your mortgage product. So the reason why we really went to Paragon is they allow you to refinance exactly after 6 months, as long as you provide proof that you've added value to the property, you know. Whereas other products out there in the market, it's either if you want to refinance, you have to leave that product and go to a different mortgage product. With that, there's also exit fees, you know, and also if banks or mortgage providers see you always doing that, they'll blackmark you to say, oh wait, why do you always take a mortgage for 6 months and you exit it and you go to another mortgage product? You know, so all those things can be kept in your record. So, you know, so this product is called advance. Yeah. So it's a product which you can ask for in advance after you do the work, you know. But if you've got a good mortgage broker, they can guide you to these stages. So another thing before I go into these numbers, what we could have done as well is we could have bought the property using a bridge. So after like the 6 months of the bridge, we can go to a mortgage product. That's fine as well. But bridge is expensive, you know. So bridge is like your worst case scenario where you don't have other options. So I'll just go through the numbers now, yeah? Oh, what's going on? Sorry, I'll share again. Yeah, technical issues. The slide is messing up. Yeah.
Do you want me to try on this side?
No, I'll share it. I'll stop sharing, but I can try sharing it again. Yeah, Muzi, just try share it from your side, please.
No problem. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I believe you are on this page, yeah?
Yeah, on the refinance stage, yeah. So as I mentioned earlier on, that the end market value which I've worked off is the 185, and this is a conservative figure because of COVID-19, you know. So the one which we'll be trying to push for is about 200K, but like you gotta be careful, you know, and because if you aim for 200K, you don't get 200K. What does it mean to your deal? So I'd rather go for the lowest value and see what it means to my deal. But if I get 200K, that will be a bonus to us as well. Yeah. So when you're now refinancing it, so there's actually two stages which you go for. So you got to think about, like, you're now buying this property again at 185. Yeah. So the first thing you do is you pay off the old mortgage. So this is automatically done if you sticking to the same mortgage provider. So for us, we're sticking to the same provider, which is Paragon. So Paragon will pay themselves in the old mortgage product, which we borrowed, which is going to be 97,500. Yeah. After that, they take the deposit. The deposit is still going to be 25%, but the deposit is now on the 185. It's no longer on the 130 because the new product is 185. So the 25% of 185 comes up to 46,250. Yeah. So after lessing those two payments, the money which is left is the money which is left for us to take out is 41,250. Yeah. But if you remember on the first slide of the deal calculation, we put in about 56,000. Yeah. So the money which we've taken out is 41,000, which means in this actual property we've left 14,770. That's the money which we've left in the deal. So what does it mean to you, like leaving 14,750? I think, yeah, it's a lot of money to leave in a deal, but like at this market, you gotta be conservative. But if we had if we refinance this product at around 200K, we're gonna pull out most of our money, or we will leave a little bit of money there. So what's the exit strategy for us to be able to recoup the 14,000 as soon as possible? Because our investment criteria is to take back the money which we've invested in a deal within 12 to 18 months. We want to have all the money out. So with this, we're going to do as a service accommodation, because we're going to leave this amount of money in the deal. So for service accommodation, we think we can recoup the money between 12 to 18 months, which will be fine. So for us, we're happy with that. But everyone has got a different criteria when it comes to how much are they happy to leave within a deal. Other people are happy to leave money for 24 months. Other people are not. Other people actually want all their money out within the 6 months when they do the refinance. So that comes to your investment appetite and your goals, your long-term goals. I know other people who are happy to leave money with for money within a deal, and they can recoup it within 5 years. For us, that's a bit too much. So 12 to 18 months is what we're leaving, and yeah, that's our strategy. So as a service accommodation in that area, we've studied the occupancy rate, and we think the average occupancy rate is going to be 65%, and our average daily rate is about 130 to 150 per day or per night. So if we can get like the property filled for 50%, we're making good profit. But the target is to get it 100% occupied. So if it's 100% occupied, you take that 15K within 6 months. But hey ho, with this current climate, you gotta be careful and just play with the conservative figures. And also bear in mind, if you investing, you're not doing this for 6 months. If you're doing it for long term, it's you just have to be happy with what you get as well. So yeah, those are the figures of the current deal strategy, and that's how we did our DD, our deal calculation process. So it's to recap everything. It's understand your market, understand your goals, and just number crunch. So yeah, I think I'm finished, Muzi, and welcome any questions.
Okay, that was brilliant. That was brilliant, Thabo. Thanks a lot for that. For the guys that are on the call and the guys that are listening as well, I've learned quite a lot from Thabo and Gugu and the strategy that they are running. So Feel free to utilize their knowledge right now if you've got any questions in terms of purchasing. Whilst people are sort of like thinking of their questions, Thabo, I've got a few questions of my own.
Yeah.
So firstly, if you could talk to me as a person who's just starting from scratch. Now, picture I'm just getting into this property thing. I'm curious. I want to know how to get started, and I want to buy my next sort of like property for a business aspect, not necessarily to buy to live in. So essentially a buy to let. Where would you reckon I should start? Do you think I should start either looking for the money, or do I need to look at what strategy I'm going to be utilizing or what area? In your opinion, where do you think I should start?
That's a chicken and egg question, you know. To be honest, I would start by doing both, you know. Like, well, to be honest, you need to know who's got the money, who's gonna give you the money. If you don't have, like, if you're not saving the deposit, then second of all is area. I think area is very important. So you just have to start both in parallel. Start identifying your gold mine area and looking for money as well, which is, it is kind of hard to do both at the same time. But like, what if you, I guess if you identify your area and you start finding deals and you can't buy them, you can always sell the deals to other people. But if you actually purchasing for yourself, I'll say nail down the area 100%, know your area inside out. You know, I can tell you how many houses are in my area. I can tell you how many flats, all that kind of stuff. So if anything comes on the market within the area, like I've got alerts, Rightmove pings me, you know, I'm like, oh, who's selling this house now? You know, so you gotta be like on top of your area like that, you know. And like raising finance is something which I'm always doing. So I'm always looking to give people fixed returns of their money, making their money work harder for them than the money being set in the bank. At this current climate, the interest rates are at all-time low. So if your money is set in the bank, you're probably getting 0.0001% on your money. But if your money is working with investors out there, investors offer you different interest rates. Other from like 6 to 12%. You know, we offering our investors 10% for their money set in the bank. So if you've got 10,000 and you invest your money with us, in after 12 months, you receive your 10,000 back and 1,000 pounds. You know, so if you're telling everyone that what you're doing and also looking for deals, you know, one time you might get it at the same time. You might get a deal and you also get the money. Then you just do the deal.
That is really interesting. The concept of, if I'm starting from scratch, dependent on whether I'm looking to actually buy the property with my own money, or there's actually an option of using someone else's money, which you've just raised. And also another option that you just chucked in there, in terms of I can find properties that I'm not buying myself, but can still monetize on them by essentially selling them on to someone else and actually monetizing on that. I mean, from the sounds of it, that will actually bring a lot of experience for yourself if you actually wanted to buy at some point as well. So that's a really good point. That.
Yeah. So yeah. So having said that, I think understanding your area, will be the first thing, you know. And understanding your area, this will be like controversial. You can make money anywhere in the world. I know people are making money in London, you know, so your area doesn't have to be up north. For everyone who thinks up north is the only place where there's properties, no, there's also properties in London. So just nail your area, wherever is closer to you. It could be 1 hour away. I would say within like driving distance, maybe up to 1 hour. That's what I would advise, like maybe up to 1 hour. So you can actually drive and actually also drive around the area in the evenings, during the day, and also see, driving around is good because you can see like people, billboards of people who are advertising their area, their properties, and they don't want the properties to go on Rightmove, you know. So there are actually people who do that as well. Like you see even a poster on their window, selling my property, you know, something like that. So if you drive around, you might pick up these deals, and that will be off market. For someone to be doing that, you know, they trying to save on estate agents fees and marketing fees. So they're trying to save 4,000 or 5,000, which they're going to have to pay the estate agents. So you know, like maybe there's pain in this person. Why are they trying to save money so much? You know, probably they the property is worth that kind of price, you know, in terms of like they're in a bigger debt. You know, they overpaid for their property when they bought it.
Mm. Mm. Now, that's a good point as well. You've just touched on my next question, actually. I can see Emmanuel's got a question there. I'll ask that straight after this whilst we're flowing through. You've just touched on off-market. On my next question, it was to do with direct-to-vendor marketing. You touched on that as you're going along when you mentioned about leaflets. So what options do I have if I want to get to a vendor, someone who's selling a house and they haven't put it online? How do I get to find out all those people that are actually selling their houses or thinking about selling their houses? And then after that, also, what's the benefit of going directly to them and not actually just going to an agent from your point of view?
Okay, now that one I need to give you credit, man. Thanks for the pink leaflet. Okay, so I think, when did we start this group? We started this group back in April.
In April, yeah.
Yeah, back in April we joined, and obviously everyone was starting off their property business. So Muzi taught us the tip, like of the pink leaflet, and if I see a tip and it works, we took the pink leaflets and we printed out about 10,000 or so of them, and excuse me, we got someone to go around delivering these leaflets for us. And out of those 10,000 leaflets we printed out, only 2 properties came out. And with those properties, I think to me, they're really good deals. And we do still get calls from other people, like casting us off, you know. So for the first batch, I'll tell you the story. So the number of the leaflet was on Google's name, and like one lady just called it, blasting it off, saying, "Oh, don't ever FFF," you know. So we had to change the number to my number. But like for the leaflet, the idea Muzi gave us was to put a lady's name, because people are more inclined to call a lady. So right now people call and ask for Precious, and they'll be like, "Yeah, hello, it's Precious, yeah." You know, but like, yeah, I still get the old people saying, "Hey, don't ever FN drop this," you know, and I return the same favor to them. So you gotta have thick skin, because with the leaflets you get positive results and also negative people like saying, "Don't drop the leaflets." What I tell them is, my guy's gonna drop there again tomorrow. So then they cut the phone. So it's like fishing, I guess, when it comes to the leaflet letting Muzi. You just have to send out as much as possible to your area, to your Goldmine area as well. So we've been strategic with our area, because don't forget as well, in the area there's some flats which are owned by the council. So for you to know which one is owned by the council, which one is not, you wouldn't know. So you just dropped all the leaflets in that area, and you just hope for the best. But it is strategic, but yeah. So that's what we've been doing with the leafleting. And also, besides the leaflet, in June, July, we did run Facebook ads. So with the Facebook ads as well, which was, we had like a few leads coming out of there, but we just saw it was more expensive. So we decided to stick to leafleting. So we've got a leaflet campaign, which we've paid £3,000 for. It's going to run for 12 months. So every month, the guy delivers 5,000 leaflets for us, you know. So, like as I mentioned, it's fishing. We'll see what comes out of those of those leaflets. I don't know if that answered your question, but yeah.
Yes, it answered one of them. And I'll just point out the second one. I just wanted to add on there as well. When it comes to the leaflets, which is something that we've discussed as well, that in general, you've got about 3 seconds from the point that the leaflet is picked up at the door to the point it hits the bin. And the idea is you want them to actually read it. And if you incite as much curiosity as possible, just like what you guys have done, it's a pink leaflet and it looks handwritten, and it actually looks like a note that's specifically for them, like something that a next door neighbor would drop in. So it doesn't look like a leaflet that's got Peter, and you can tell that it's professionally done. It's something that is just been thrown in. Usually those ones just literally move from the door straight to the bin. We all do that. And I know as people are listening, they're thinking, yeah, we'll pick up leaflets straight to the bin. But if it's ideally what you want to do is just to get them to read it. So with the negative comments that you actually get, my positive view of it is they read it, which is what you wanted them to do. They read it and they actually took the time to call you back. That for me is positive.
Yeah,
and I remember you actually recorded one of the messages that they sent you, and I found that really funny. Actually, I found it hilarious. The second part of the question was, what's the benefit from your point of view? What's the benefit of actually going directly to the vendor rather than just go to an agent?
Okay, no, the benefits of going direct to a vendor is no one has seen the property on the market, so the agents. Don't forget, the agents are sales. They're sales. They try to get the highest possible value or price for that property. So if you're going direct to the vendor, it's understanding their pain, understand why they're selling the house, etc. And people always say other people don't like to advertise their properties, and I've had calls of people calling me to say, I don't want to advertise my property on Rightmove so every Dick and Jill can come in my house, So you sent a leaflet. So that's another positive. So other people don't want a for sale sign outside their house. So people are different out there, so, and weird. So it's like going direct to event, like it's having say that you can negotiate a good deal, because like they don't want to advertise their property and maybe their only option. So it's like, it's those kind of stuff. And also speed of implementation. If you're going direct to the vendor and telling them I can complete within 2 weeks, whereas if you put it on the market, it can complete in 6 weeks, in 6 months, or just give them that scare as well. They'll be like, I'd rather go with you. We can complete within 2 weeks. And then you actually tell them, what, this is the price I'm willing to pay for this property, and these are my reasons. I have to change XYZ. The refurb is going to cost me a lot of money. It's like building a lot of rapport with them as well, building that relationship, so you can get the property, even you're offering less than they're probably expecting, but you just have to convince them why they still need to sell to you. So direct to vendor gives you more power to negotiate as well. Whereas with an estate agents, like one thing as well, like I know by law, estate agents, if you make an offer, they have to tell the vendor. But what if they they don't tell the vendor? You wouldn't know. You know what I mean. So, and there's how many people are calling the estate agents. So it's like that kind of stuff. So you eliminating competition when you're going direct to the vendor. You're cutting the middleman off. It's like that's the whole strategy. Cut the middleman off and go straight to the person who owns the property.
Absolutely valid points there. Really, really good points. You can't necessarily negotiate with an agent. Very good points. Thanks a lot, Thabo. I'm just going to jump on the questions that are being asked in the chat. So I'll start off with Emmanuel's. Emmanuel, just for a bit more clarity, if you can unmute yourself. The first question is, did the money in the deal include purchase price?
Yeah, so basically at the beginning of the PowerPoint, saw figures like £130,000 in terms of purchasing price. But then as he went on, he mentioned the amount of money he actually put in the deal of around 50,000. So I kind of like got a bit lost there in terms of, so did you actually purchase the property, and at what price did you purchase the property?
Oh, okay.
So just clarify that, please.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, Muzi, do you want to share that slide again? Back. Yeah, that one. Yeah. So Emmanuel, yeah. What I was saying is, the property was purchased at 130,000. Yeah, but for
Yeah.
us, we didn't actually pay them the 130,000. We leveraged the bank. You know, so the seller, yes, the seller got the 130,000, but for us, the money which left our account was 25% deposit because we did a bank leverage. So 25% of 130 is the 32,500. You know, so we did purchase the property, but not cash. So we didn't 100% give them the 130,000 from our bank account, but we leveraged the bank. I don't know if that answers your question.
Okay. Yeah. I
Yeah.
get what you're
Yeah.
saying. Yeah.
So the money which we put in from Thabo and Google's pockets is the 56,000, but obviously there is that 97,000 which we borrowed from the bank. You know, from the bank. That's why we'll be paying like the mortgage interest rates. You know, but with the same bank, with the same mortgage provider, that's when I was saying, Kuti, you have to be 100% specific from your when you're getting your product. You know, so this
Yeah.
product
Yeah.
which we got, it allows us, Kuti, exactly after 6 months we can refinance. You know, so after 6 months, as long as we prove to them, we show them evidence, Kuti, we bought this property below the market value at 130, but after 6 months, we've done X, Y, Z amount of work in the property. And when you do the comparables of 1 bedrooms and of 2 bedrooms flats in that area, you know, they go about in the price range of 180 to 210,000. So we think the property is now worth 210,000. Yeah. Then what they'll do is they'll send a surveyor to say, oh yeah, we've surveyed the property. Thabo, you're lying. This property is worth 200,000. Or Thabo, you're lying. This property is worth 250,000. You know, I'll be saying happy days. But like, I'll put a conservative figures for these calculations, Kuti. You know, we want the highest possible value, but with this current market, you never know. People are getting devalued and they're crying, you know, because devaluation can mess up the whole deal. So we put a conservative figure to say we think it's going to be 185, but that process hasn't happened again. Maybe in 6 months you'll be asking me the same question, and I'll be telling you, oh yeah, I went for 185 or 175. So if it goes for 175, what does it mean to us? It means we've actually left more money in the deal, you know. And to me, that would be a bad deal. But hey ho, it's done. You know, you can only learn from it.
Oh, thank you for that. Thank you.
No worries.
Awesome. Emmanuel, I know you've got another question, but I'm just going to go through the questions as they're listed. So the next question, I want to read this one out. I'm not sure if Uputu Jabu is on the call right now, but I'll read it out and then hopefully Jabu can unmute and actually explain himself. So Thabo and G, thanks for this informative and inspiring presentation. Personal question. You have 24 hours in your day. So where do you get time to do all this activity of acquiring and refurbishing? I assume you do AMA shift or you are now permanently on property. I was Tao. What's the story here?
Yeah, no, time management is very, very important. And now I still work full time. So the good thing right now, we're both working from home, so we can take the calls regardless. We're not in work meetings, etc. But it's like if anyone calls you, you can answer the call. But if I was in the office, that would be kind of different. So in terms of running the refurbs, is I've got a builder which he's done one project for me now, and we've seen how he works, and we trust him as well. He's a Zimbabwean guy, and so I empower him to do all the work for me, and we do like go maybe at the end of the day or like after a week or after a couple of days to just go check what's going on site, you know. And in terms of we mainly do most of our stuff on the weekends, like to go for buy materials and all that kind of stuff. it's mainly on the weekends. But like right now, I'm not looking for properties. We're not looking for properties on Rightmove because everything on Rightmove to me is overpriced. So we leveraging too much on these leaflets. So if I don't get a leaflet call, I'll be like, okay, as long as if you know what I mean. So I'm just waiting for the leaflet ones. Yeah, so that's what we're doing. But once like we finished refabbing these 2 deals and everything is like settled, I'll probably start looking on Rightmove again, just to always see what's going on. But as I mentioned to you, that I've got alerts on Rightmove within my area to see, okay, what's come up. You know, I can quickly see now this is a good deal, or this is not a good deal. You know, and I do like sometimes log in to online auctions and listen up, you know, to see what people are paying for property prices, all that kind of stuff, you know. Or if there's a property which we've seen on Rightmove and we're interested in, we will still make an offer. You know, even I know I'm not gonna get it, but I'll make an offer so I know what it went for, you know, or what it went for. Like, oh, if the property sold above, you know. So all the ones which I've made an offer for, I think, and in Scotland, I can't make an offer. Your offer is to go through your solicitor. So the solicitor shows like, mate, listen, all the offers you're making, like, stupid offers. But I'm like, mate, that's what I'm prepared to pay for that property, you know? It's like all the offers we made, I think I made about 15 or 20 offers and we didn't get none of them, you know, because they were like just below like market value, you know. So that meant to us like people in the market are paying ridiculous prices. I've got a friend who sold a property right now in Glasgow, and the buyer, the property sold for the home report, which is the valuation of the property, was 230,000, but someone paid 265,000 for that property. Where people are getting the money from, I don't know. Where people are getting that mindset to pay over, I don't know. But that's what's happening in the Glasgow market. I don't know about in England, but yeah. So yeah, coming back to Javu's question, I know I go around in circles. Yeah. So for me, we've tried to, for us, we've tried to automate a lot of things, you know, like to leverage the off-market stuff and just to be tiptoeing to see what's on the market, so we don't spend too much time on it. And we've leveraged the builder, so we trust him, but we still need to check him, what he's doing, etc. You know, yeah. Leaflets. So yeah, Google was mentioning to say, yeah, so we don't deliver the leaflets ourselves, so we've paid a company to do that. So you never see me walking in the rain delivering the leaflet. I just wait for the call.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant. I hope that answers that question, Jawu. And if not, feel free just to probe a little bit more. You're now unmuted.
No, just want to thank you and Thabo and Google. Thank you very much. This is quite enlightening. I just need, I think I did send a second question.
Okay, let me.
Yes,
I'm satisfied.
Yes.
I'm satisfied with the answer for my first question, though I have to do the so-called shift. So really, I don't work at home, unfortunately.
Yeah, but even with my shift, you can still like make like an hour, like on your shift break. You know, that 30 minutes you get, you'll be eating your sandwich and just study the area which you're doing. So you imagine like for 365 days, you studying what's your area? Wolverhampton, Birmingham.
No, I'm in Manchester. I'm just planning to move. Literally, I want to move to West Midlands. Yeah.
Okay. So if yeah, whichever area you prefer, like maybe if it's Birmingham, Wolverhampton, just start reading about what's happening in Birmingham or what's happening in Wolverhampton. You know, there's a lot happening in Birmingham right now. Property prices are high. You know, maybe if you're in the West Midlands, you
are scaring me now. I want to buy there. You are saying that. Thabo, I was encouraged all along. Now you've changed the gear. All right, anyway, thanks. All right.
Now that's cool. That's cool. So if I can just jump onto the second question for you, Thabo from Jabo. Obviously, as he's just mentioned, is looking to purchase a new built house in Wolverhampton and Birmingham area in the next 3 months. Is it possible for him to apply for a mortgage before he identifies the house? And if he does get the mortgage, how long can you hold it for?
Yeah. So I think before you get a house, just find out from your mortgage broker, like based on your income, or are you purchasing the property under your name, or you purchasing the property under a limited company. So you can find out from your broker how much borrowing you can do. So what we did was to go to our broker to say, we're looking to start buying houses, you know, like it can be 5, 10 houses, but we just want to see, based on our income, our joint income under a limited company, how much can banks lend us up to? You know, you can get that from your broker, and the broker can write you a letter say, based on your financial circumstances, you can borrow up to £1 million. You know, so if you can borrow up to £1 million, you can even look at property worth 50,000 or whatever. So if an estate agents, if you're going through the estate agents route, if they ask you like, oh, do you have your agreement in principle? No, you just tell them, no, I'm an investor, I buy properties, but right now I've got a borrowing power of up to £1 million, you know? So for you to show that confidence, and if they say, oh, can you send us that letter or whatever, you can send them, you know, that letter, as long as it's from your broker and it's got a date within 3 to 6 months, you can use that, you know. Then once you identify like the exact property, you can also, if you know the exact property figure, you can get a mortgage in principle within minutes, you know. So because if your broker is giving you that certificate to say you can borrow up to this much, you know, it means he's checked your credit history, your credit score, he's seen your bank statements, you know, there's no issue for you to get money. You know what I mean? So when you go to the broker, you just want to know how much, what's the maximum you can get from a bank based on your circumstances. So once you know that, you can even look at properties worth below that, but you know you can afford them, or the banks can borrow you that X amount of money.
Yeah, Thabo, thanks very much. That is very helpful. However, I still haven't been answered as to how long, I mean, the maximum time I can hold on to that, to just call it buying power.
Yeah.
That's it, that certificate. I'm not in a hurry to buy. Yesterday or the other day, I asked a question in the group about timing the market. I know I'm not advised to time, but my gut feeling says we're in unprecedented times, so timing may help. So I'm not in a hurry to buy, but basically I want to buy. And my question is like, what is the maximum time I can hold onto the buying power certificate, quote unquote?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I think from the top of my head, I think it's 3 months, because banks usually ask for 3 months bank statements. So they know your circumstances can change every 3 months, and you can improve your credit score, etc., every 3 months. But I've had other people or other banks asking for up to 6 months, you know, but on the safer side, it could be 3 months. But you gotta always try, like, keep a clean credit score, regardless whether you're buying or you're not. So, you know, but if your credit score and everything is the same, and your income hasn't changed in the last 3 months or 6 months, yeah, but you know, like, even if the broker has said, oh, Jabu, you can borrow up to 1 million. So it's not like all of a sudden that 1 million is gonna drop, but your circumstances haven't changed. But if your circumstances have improved, or maybe you're now earning more money or something like that, you know, so it means you actually have more leverage. You can borrow more money, so that your circumstances will improve for the better.
All right.
Yeah. So, but my advice, even if you're not buying right now, try and maintain a clean credit score. There was a lady who did a presentation here, so Muzi can share the details for you. It was a good presentation about maintaining a good credit score, whether you're buying or you're not. By having a good credit score is actually beneficial if you're going for these products.
Yeah, thanks. That's very appreciable. Thank you very, very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
and unfortunately, I must sign off. I'm going for another meeting. Thank you very, very much.
No problem, Thabo. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Okay, fine.
Much
Appreciate that. Thank
appreciated.
you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, awesome. So just the point that Thabo just made there about credit score, we do have a lovely lady called Arlene who joined us a few weeks back, and she's a finance manager. She was talking deep information and knowledge on how to maintain a good credit score, on how to create one if your credit score is not the greatest, and it's really important to make sure you do actually have that. So just going down in the questions, and I can see Mugo's raised his hand. I was just going to ask Emmanuel's question first, and then I'll come to you, Mugo. Can you source a property on auction?
Sorry, can I source?
Yeah. Could you source a property on auction?
No,
I know how you feel about properties on auction.
on auction. Yeah, yes, you can, because I believe nothing is impossible. Yeah, but like if you're sourcing a property on auction, you gotta have a buyer 100% ready. Because if you get the property on auction and you can't pay it, that's gonna come back to you. You know that comes back to you. So when you say sourcing, are you buying the property to sell it to someone else? So if that's what you mean by sourcing, yes, you can. But I would say have a buyer ready, you know, and like that's more like what most people who source properties are now doing, you know. Whereas before, a lot of people who source properties like they find a deal and they start looking for investors. But what other people are doing now is to find investors first and find deals which tailor their needs, you know. And I've got a friend who you know, like the way he does his sourcing is bespoke, you know. So he says he finds investors first, and the investors put money in the SPV account. So if the money is there, that's when he starts doing the work, you know, because you know he doesn't want to be just running around for sourcing for an investor, and the investor is telling him no, not this one, not this one, not this one, you know. So he's just running around like a hairless chicken. So if he finds an investor, they agree a criteria to say, yes, I want this property in this location, XYZ. And once the guy finds a property which meets the investor's criteria, he's like, mate, I found a property which is like XYZ. However, it's in an auction, but if it goes for this X amount of price, I think we should buy it. You know, if the investor says yes, then you go for it. So that means, yes, you can source the property from an auction if you're selling it on.
Okay, thank you for that. Thank you.
Yeah, but I wouldn't advise you making an offer on the property without having an investor.
I was just waiting for you to say that.
Yeah, no, that would be like that would be beans. You're not being a hot soup.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll just quickly ask Nehemiah's question as well before we move to Mugo. And this is one of the questions that I actually had as well. Very good question, Nehemiah. Thabo, you mentioned earlier on in your presentation about you paying 2 solicitors as one of the errors that you made. Is there any other faults or steps or anything that you made in that process that you learned from that might be informative for us to watch out for?
Yeah, so the reason why we paid 2 solicitors, so the mortgage product which we were going for, Paragon Bank, yeah, they've got a list of a panel of solicitors which they use, you know. And the solicitors, my solicitor wasn't part of the panel because she had already started doing work on our deal, you know. I just felt like either way, if I said, oh, I don't want to use you anymore, I was still going to pay something towards the work she had started to do. So then we instructed both of them to say, yes, you do the work on our side and work with Paragon solicitor as well. Paragon instructed solicitor. So maybe to mitigate that area is once you know the mortgage product which you want to use, other products they don't care which solicitor you use. So once you know the product which you want to use, even like my mortgage broker didn't know Paragon to instruct their own solicitors. So we didn't know until last minute. So I don't know how I could have avoided that, but now I know. So, and now I'm telling you guys that you can ask your broker, like, okay, with this product, do I have to use my own solicitor, or is there a panel of their own solicitors which they use? So it was my first time also encountering that, you know. So if you ask the question in advance, maybe you can actually also check online. So if your guy says, or your girl, the mortgage broker says, yeah, I found your product with Halifax Bank, you know, so you can go online. Okay, for Halifax Bank, do they use, is there a recommended panel solicitors which they like or which they use, or I can use any solicitor with that? So if they say you can use any solicitor with that, then you go with your normal solicitor, you know. But like for us, we already speak to this lady on a daily basis for other deals, etc. So it made sense for us to instruct it. So that was like error number one. Yeah, I'll say error. Then number two, in terms of the architect drawings, etc., I could have we could have used people online, etc., because I knew the measurements. I did all the measurements myself. You know, I could have used someone on Fiverr, like an architect. It doesn't. You know when you do these drawings, there is no stamp which you put saying the drawings were done by an architect. Blah blah blah. Anyone can do the drawings. You know, as long as they meet the requirements, etc. You know, but like, because the way we're thinking is we're thinking for future deals, and we're trying to build relationships and power teams. So we say, you know what, let's work with this guy and see what he can do, and if we're going to use him for the future deals, because it's hard to use someone online when they can't see the space and all that kind of stuff, you know. So we could have used someone online and pay them 200 and pay the Glasgow Council 300 for the submission, and I could have saved another 500, but hey ho, it's 500. So it's also like that 500 to build the relationships. So once we did that, I told the guy our aspirations for doing bigger deals as well, and he's been sending me his CV to say, yeah, I can do this and that. You know, so it's all about building these relationships as well. So we could have saved cost there as well, but we just decided to go with it.
Awesome. Nehemiah, not sure if that answers your question. I hope it does.
I'm sure it does. Can I just slot in another one, which is more or less like a request? I noticed with these things, Thabo, particularly for the analysis, you would probably have some tool or tools somewhere to do the analysis for the figures. Do you have a spreadsheet? I'm thinking of a spreadsheet which probably used. Do you have any?
Yeah, the spreadsheet cost me money, bro. You know what? I'll give you.
I knew you were going to say that.
Now the spreadsheet cost me money, bro. That's the truth. Like, I built the spreadsheet. I bought it, and we built it like to tailor it to our needs. But you asked for it, you know. I'll give you. But anyone else who wants it, we have to pay me.
Thanks for that.
I'm coming to you, Nehemiah. No, that's brilliant. Thanks a lot for that, Thabo. I'm just gonna ask Mugo. Mugo, you still on the call, to unmute yourself, please, and just ask your question.
Hey.
There he is.
Now I've forgotten the question now. It's taking too long to come to me. Congrats to Gugu and Thabo. This is very impressive, very inspirational as well. Yeah, congrats to you guys. As for my question, it was on the refinance part of your presentation, Thabo. I know you mentioned about providing them with, was that a requirement from Paragon that you need to provide them certain evidence of works you've done, or
Yeah. Thanks for the best wishes. So they do specify, like, to say we could ask for proof, of the works you've done. So what the broker said is, like, when we're going for the refinance, instead of waiting for them to ask, we're gonna provide a pack to them to say, wait, this is the before pictures and this is the after pictures. This is the drawings which we've done, just to give them as much information, to say, even when they're sending their surveyor, when the surveyor comes out, they can see, like, what, these people have actually done work, So, but if they don't believe you, other people say, other banks or other mortgage providers, they can ask for your receipts, because they can say, wait, like, you saying you did XYZ, can we see your receipts or your bank statements of the money coming out? So we want to give them more information as possible for them to say, yes, we believe you, that kind of stuff.
Okay. So if it gets to the point of them asking for receipts, how does that work? Are they going to put a pound for a pound on the value, or what?
I don't know. I wouldn't lie there. I don't know. And I hope it doesn't get to that stage, but if it gets to that stage, we'll be learning on that particular step. But I'm not sure. I think it's like, the main reason why they ask for that is, like, someone can buy a property, maybe, for example, Mugo, this one, I'm like, yeah, I bought it for 130. Then I just paint the house. Then I call the bank and say, guys, listen, the property is now worth 210. And I'm like, what did you do? Then I just say, oh, I did XYZ. When the surveyor comes in, he's like, no work was done there. It's still the same kitchen. It's still the same XYZ. So what you mean? You've added, you've uplifted the property. So it's all that kind of stuff. But, like, you never know. Sometimes it can work because maybe banks are not sending the surveyors out again or that kind of stuff. But we're just being conservative, just to cover all angles. So there's no reason for them to say no. So I'll rather provide them with more information and just get our backs covered.
Yeah, cool. I know for this, sorry, last question now. For this one, did you say you're adding Ensuite to help uplift the value of the product?
Yeah. I know that your question you're gonna ask. You once asked it, like, to say, what's the actual price for adding it on?
No, you answered that before, so I'm not asking that. I was going to ask anyway. Do you have any other sort of things you try and look out for that can, really lift up the value? I know Ensuite is one of those things. I don't know. Do you have any other recommendations or suggestions in that area?
Yeah. So in that area, it's always like, it depends. Like, from I'll speak from actual house perspective. So if you buy houses are better than flats, because with the houses you can extend. So extensions or rejigging the layout of houses, or going up the loft. So anything which involves you getting planning permission definitely uplifts the value of a property. So if you buy a house, so we're now looking for the problem with Glasgow. There's too many flats. So we now actually for our next purchases, we're targeting houses only, so we can, like, actually massive uplift on the house, because you can extend, you can because another thing which we as investors, we need to run away from changing the kitchen and the bathroom. It's just it's modernization of a house. It's not uplifting the property price, but, like, increasing the floor space, like doing like rejigging the layout. If it was a 1-bed, you make it a 2-bed. If it was a 3-bed, you make it a 5-bed. All those creative stuff. That's like rejigging. You increasing the rooms, etc. Yeah. Yes, modernization is very, very important, because at the end of the day, it's the eye which sells. It's like what people see and it's what people buy. But actually, going on the floor space is my number one tip, and that's what a lot of people do. You can even actually do a planning permission and submit the drawings, even if you don't do anything, but you've uplifted your value. So if you sell your house, if you're selling your house, which is a 3-bed, you can tell the buyer, Kuchi, oh, I'm selling this house as a 3-bed, but before, when I had money, I once applied for planning permission, and you can do X, Y, Z. You can convert the loft, or you can do that. Other people in the same street have done it, you know. And I once gave a tip in the group here, like to say, for you to know what's happening in your street in terms of planning permission, you just go on your council website and put in your postcode. You will see who's applied for planning permission. We in England, so we in the UK, so there's no secrets here. All that stuff is there online. You know, you can see what your neighbor is planning. You can actually see their drawings. You can see the architect which they are using, etc. So,
really? Okay.
Yeah.
I know you put that information before. I've never really actually looked at it, but yeah, cool. That's a good.
So if you're doing an extension and I know your postcode, I'll know which architect you're using.
Thabo Forensics. All right, thanks for that, man. Cheers.
All right, man. Cheers.
Okay. There's 2 more questions that I hear, but unfortunately you're not going to be able to answer them because we did say that we're going to finish this call at 7 o'clock. So you definitely won't be able to answer them, but I will point out what the questions are so that if you could actually just put in your opinions on the group, either on Facebook or on WhatsApp. And also we can just share that on the comments at the bottom of the YouTube video. So the 2 questions are, 1, you spoke about asking price versus the actual market value. There's a difference there. And if you could actually speak a little bit more about it, if you could share that on the group and how important it is for people to understand what the difference is, because it could impact your deal. And then the second question, which Villa's just dropped on the chat here, and I know this one is not a quick 5-minute explanation, is can you use bounce back loans as a deposit to buy a buy-to-let? And this is a question that not many people actually agree on, even the tax specialists and all the people that we expect to know exactly what should be going on. So that one is more of a debate rather than you actually answering the question. But those 2, if you could share your opinion on the groups, please, that will be great. And then we can just hopefully help the people that are out there looking for information to get themselves started. But otherwise, Thabo, that was an absolutely brilliant presentation and very inspirational, as the guys have mentioned. Appreciate that. And the one thing I'm just going to ask of you, Thabo, is where can people find you?
In Glasgow. Now I'm very active on LinkedIn, Thabo Nhlangano on LinkedIn. I'm active on Instagram, Thabo Investor on Instagram, and in the group, Zim Property Investors WhatsApp group. If you share anything there, I can answer questions. So I'm trying to come to Facebook, man.
We'll get you there eventually. I've been working hard for the past 6 months. I'll get you there eventually.
Yeah, so yeah, now LinkedIn, Instagram, WhatsApp group, I'm active there. So I share a lot of stuff. And
awesome.
It helps there.
He's strictly an IG guy, Instagram guy.
Yes, we know Thabo and his Instagram. And I can attest, guys, I've seen his pages. He shares some really valuable information on there. So if you are on those platforms, feel free to follow him. There's some really inspirational information, and he shares his journey as well, him and Google. Some really inspirational stuff. I would recommend you guys listen and see what they are doing. So we have come to 7 o'clock, unfortunately. I know it's heartbreaking. You guys want to be listening to this all day, all night, but it has to come to an end at some point, unfortunately. So if you guys are watching on the YouTube channel, I would kindly ask that you guys like the video, share the video, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any of the ones that we are going to be posting as we go along. So thank you very much for the guys that are on the call right now who have joined. Much appreciated. Thank you, Thabo. And I know Gugu played a big part on the information that you shared, wherever she is. Much appreciated. And thank you guys that are watching on the YouTube channel. Really appreciate your support. So I'm just going to unmute everyone so it allows you guys to say goodbye as we end the call now. There we go.
Right, thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Good night, everyone.
Thank
Good
you.
night. Good night.
Good night.
See you
Yes,
next week,
bye-bye.
guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
And Thabo, and Muzi also, and everyone else. It's been a pleasure to come back on the.
Yeah,
Awesome having you back, Quinton. Thank you.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure, guys.
Thank you.
okay, cheers. Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys. Bye.
All right, cheers, guys. I'm going to end the call now. Take care.
Okay, bye. Cheers.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.